Good morning. It's Thursday, January 27th. And I used to believe that if a fire truck and a mail truck arrived at the corner at the same time, that the mail truck had a precedence. But that was not true. That was not true. And it's also not true that a state can decide to ban the U.S. Post Office from delivering packages. The U.S. Post Office is a government agency, a federal agency. You can't stop them from delivering packages. Now, it's true, up till the Biden's presidency, that there was a ban on abortion pills being sent through the mail. But Biden lifted that ban. And a federal agency like the Post Office is governed by the government, not by any given state. So when the state of Georgia says they are banning postal delivery of abortion pills, they are violating the law. Now that law is right now being contested in the Supreme Court in many different ways, but nevertheless, it's still on the books. So they can't ban the delivery of abortion pills through the mail. That would be like banning the FBI from investigating crimes. You can't do that. You cannot interfere with the federal government's business. But anyhow, this is in court now, which I think is ridiculous. Why should it be in court? So women are taking a beating in the way of personal rights and protections in certain states in this country. And we know there are many lawsuits over this abortion rights. And many states are changing all the laws. But when you try to change a law that involves a federal agency, I don't see any reason why that should be acceptable to anybody. And yet we have GOP senators running around trying to bring this law about. And I think it's totally crazy, totally unfair. Not what a democratic society should be doing. So, this will go to the courts. And I don't know how it'll turn out in the courts, but it seems to me that no court should be allowed to override a decision by a federal agency unless it's really a gross offense that they are committing. So delivery by mail should be regular. And who's going to investigate every single package that comes through the U.S. Post Office? That's a monumental job. And listen to this story. There was a woman in Texas who had a terrible childbirth the first time around. And when she became pregnant again, she didn't want to go through that. But Texas had a ban, and this ban was legal at that particular time. They had a ban against getting abortion pills through the mail. Well, you can't necessarily check every single package that comes through the mail. I mean, if the thing clearly says abortion pills are in this package, then I guess you could stop it. But the woman didn't even try to do that. What she did is she called a friend who lived in another state. And she had the friend order the pill. And then when the pill came to the friend's package, the friend took them out, put them in another envelope, and mailed them to the person in Texas. And so she got her abortion pills. She took her abortion pills. And she said it was a very quiet evening at home. She went to bed. No serious consequences, went to bed, woke up, and was aborted. So there are many ways around these laws. So why bother having them? Why bother making it difficult for people to exercise their rights? Abortion is a personal thing. Families have to decide whether it's right or wrong to have the next child. Would you like to have a poor family who has 5 or 6 kids already, can't afford the 5 or 6, have another one? Now, one could say it's their fault. They're not paying attention. They're not doing the right thing. They're not using contraceptives. That's true. But it's still their right to decide. oh, geez, I made a mistake, so I better do something about it. I can't afford this child. I'm not going to bring this child up in a poor household and not give them any advantages of the way of living, right? And all of these abortion people who are saving the lives of these childs, none of them are offering to take care of the kid when he's born. If they said, okay, please have the child, we will give it a good home, we will take care of it, then maybe this thing would go away. But that's not happening. You made a mistake. You're having a child, you're stuck with it. And if the child turns out to be bad, it's your problem. But that's not the way it should be. That's not the way it should be. There should not be any state that prevents abortions. And they certainly shouldn't be interfering with the federal government's businesses in order to achieve their goals of having no abortions in their state, medical or otherwise. And let's look at the cost of abortions. It isn't cheap to have an abortion. So if you have a person who would like to have an abortion, even in a state where abortions are allowed, it'd be preference to have a safe abortion with a pill that costs $110 versus having a surgical procedure which costs maybe $300, $400, $500. I mean, that's a choice thing. If you have the money and you want to go to the doctor, that's fine. But maybe you don't want to have your body invaded in some surgical procedure, so you take some pills. What's wrong with that? In any event, I think it's foolish that we are wasting time and effort on all of these insane, inane laws that are trying to be passed to prevent people from getting on with their lives. I think choice, women's choice with their own bodies, is critical. I think it's covered in the Constitution somewhere. I don't think that states have the right to tell people what to do with their bodies. So in any event, that's what I have this morning, and I hope that the courts decide in favor of the federal government and let the Postal Service do their job. I'll see you tomorrow.